Welcome back to the Tribal Lines podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Lupo, and today we have an amazing guest host with us. He was on a few seasons ago. He's back, Ty Owens. Ty, how's it going?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Stephen. Enjoying season 50. It's been a lot of fun to watch favorites back on the screen again after it's been so long, right?
It really has. Something I've generally picked up on from this season is that the the things that there were a few things going into it that Survivor was excited about for Survivor 50, and that is the in the hands of the fans and the cameos and the returning players. And I think definitely the cameos and the twists have been a little bit worse than I'd say the fans would have wanted. It was in the hands of the fans, the voting, but what Survivor did with that voting definitely was not what the fans would have wanted. But
Correct.
what
Yeah.
is great about this season is that it's still an amazing season, and that is because of the cast. It's because of the players. Returning player seasons are always my favorite for the most part. There's a couple of new player seasons that I really like, and they're at the top of my list, but returning player seasons make for such amazing seasons because these players, one, we know them, and two, they're back for a reason because they are great characters, they play a great game, and the the way we're seeing all these players interact with each other is really cool and are making for really good TV. So even if, the cameos or the twists are messing up with the game, somehow each episode I don't come out of the episode upset with what happened because something happened with the players that made me very excited to be watching the season. So I'm loving season 50 so far. These players are
Yeah.
great. And someone we're going to be talking a lot about today is Coach. And Coach has been amazing. It's so crazy. When I saw he was on the cast, I was so happy to see him back again. But it's 27 seasons later. I did not
hmm
think he was going to be the same old Coach. I thought he was going to be completely different. He had white hair, he was so much older. I thought he would be a little different. No, he's the same old
He's
Coach,
nearly
and I love it.
drowning. Yeah, he's nearly drowning in the
Nearly
ocean.
drowning.
He needs to be hauled out. Yet still, yeah, 100%. Like it's the only thing that would be better than getting like this new and improved coach after all this time is him just the second one thing goes wrong, he just goes right back into himself like what he has always done.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just absolutely perfect. Like, I mean, it's like people get on Ozzy for like blowing up about the vote where they left him out, and then
Mhm.
like coach's response was 100 times worse based on at camp. So, yeah, that was really incredible to see. Just so much fun to have Coach back on TV, and that's what I mean. Like Survivor season 50 and Survivor in general is good in spite of itself a lot of the time, right? Because it's just the game itself is so good, but the twists and Zach Brown on my TV for 40 minutes is like, you know, not what anyone wanted to see. These are not the twists that anyone wanted to see. These are not the we got to vote on a necklace and like, do you want this buzzword we came up with twist or this buzzword we came up for twist? And it's like, I don't know what any of this means. I definitely didn't vote for you to split the merge at 5-5-5 and then send three people. Like you could have come up with something that would have been, if you're talking about it being revolutionary, the only thing revolutionary is that three people went home. But it's like, it was still like, yes, like you said, still so much fun. And I'm still so excited for this merge. Especially with this first merge episode. Like it was a lot of fun to watch. Coach completely spiral. And the thing is, I don't think he's going to all of a sudden become introspective and stop spiraling. Like it's going to keep going because it's like the next day, it's not a week
Uh-huh.
later, it's one day. So we'll see. He got his way, so maybe he'll calm down now.
Yeah, D definitely got him uh riled up for sure. I think if it wasn't for D trying to target him in
It
the
wasn't
last
even
vote.
D though. Jonathan riled him up by telling him about it. Like he would, like like it wouldn't have even like maybe he was already pissed and he was holding it in, but he was
No, with
totally
the Colby vote, because
yeah.
D
Oh
wanted Colby to
Yeah,
stay, but Suri wanted Colby to go.
yeah. I mean, he was he freaking out then though? I feel like he kind of kept it cool until he got back and Jonathan was like, "Yeah, she was shopping your name hard." I don't know. I don't know what set him off or when that fight with Jonathan and her happened. Or really, the timeline of all that is probably jumbled up a little bit because it's a day and then you got Stephanie leaving too in the middle of it and a challenge in the middle of it. So
Yeah.
who knows when that fight and everything actually happened. But yeah, it's like I don't know. Like if people just maybe it's the lack of food still, or it's just like coach being coach. He's gonna as soon as his back is against the wall or one he doesn't get his way on one thing, it's like I'm going to make this a problem for everyone.
Right, right. I love it. Um, and so today we're here to recap episode 7 of Survivor 50. But because I've been pretty busy lately, the last 2 weeks we have not been able to podcast. And within 2 weeks, we have had five eliminations. So quickly, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what has happened and gotten us to this point in episode 7. First off, we had the double elimination where only one tribe was safe, two tribes going to tribal council. Before we talk about the people voted out, and kind of similar to like what you were saying about like no one really wanted them to be split up 5-5-5 and have three people go home. This only happened because they did one double elimination pre-merge.
Yeah. I think
How
everybody
are you not
expected
doing
there to
that more
be,
often? Like that's the
yeah.
perfect time. Like I would have much rather had a merge at 14 with maybe one double elimination and then just have a bunch of singles in a row because this is a returning player season, so many different relationships. It's not going to be as cut and dry as a new player season where it's going to be tribe versus tribe. It's going to be alliances versus alliances. And then because there are a lot of new era style players in this game, there's going to be a lot of I'll vote with you this round and then vote you out next round, or I just tried to vote you out this round. Let's vote together next round. And I think
Mhm.
that's going to make it a lot more interesting and fluid of a game at the merge if you do a lot of single votes because you'll never know who could possibly be going home. Alliances will change, people will become threats, and you'll have to get them out even if they're in your alliance. That would be a lot more exciting than to have a three-person elimination. And then I have a feeling this next episode in episode 8 is going to be a double of some sort.
Yeah.
And then they still need to do another double in order to get to the finale in time, unless they do the finale at final six. And then
Hmm.
if that's the, or yeah, and then if that's the case, then they'll just have to do like a quick final sit,
Yeah.
like final six, final five, final four. But I don't
Yeah.
know. I think that they should have just done more doubles pre-merge and given a better opportunity for more single eliminations and for them to just play at the merge. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, what do you think?
Yeah. I agree. I think what what's tough is like I totally agree. And I think what the spot that they're in though is that they wanted to build time with these characters that we haven't seen in so long,
Hmm.
like they didn't want us to turn it on and then do a double elimination week 3 and Colby and Coach go out here, boom, and now you're out two legends, or Ozzy and Suri. Like they don't want a winners at war boot order, like that's not what they don't want the big people that people are coming to see to go out first. So I think they wanted to build time with them, but in doing so, yeah, you kind of box yourself into these quick eliminations. And the thing that I hate the most is merging and then immediately splitting randomly, or not randomly, but in a rock draw. I guess that was random. Like that was splitting
Right.
randomly. So like it's so arbitrary. It's like you're not tribes, you're different groups. Okay, but like I'm just completely screwed for luck. Like, okay, there's other ways, like even if you're gonna do this random rock draw, there's other ways to build that tribal council so it's not random and you don't force yourself into it. But I think they get stuck in the like, oh, three eliminations, that's huge. That's gonna be the headline. Yeah, that's the headline, but like I don't think they were happy with that. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's been fun and everything, and it's hard to like Survivor is still gonna find, or fans are still gonna find something to complain about. So I
Right.
think they should have
Seriously.
built one or two more double boots in there when they were split. I think everybody, even including the cast, was like surprised that they didn't. And now maybe that's even more that they were trying to be like, we're gonna keep them guessing what's gonna happen, like that's probably part of it too. So yeah, I imagine we're in for a double this week, based on just the clip. They said like double the stakes or something like that.
Mhm.
Um,
I
so
also
yeah,
think
whatever. Like
based
it's
on
okay, but yeah, we got more time with people, I guess.
yeah, based on the I think the write up about the next episode, you know how sometimes like well not sometimes all the time they'll have like a few sentences about the upcoming episode like to describe what the episode's going to be about generally. Um
Yeah.
and in that I think there was some sort of thing explained where you're going to like kind of be tied to someone because they
Mm,
said that the
mhm,
immunity challenge is going to be um,
mm.
in pairs, but that
Oh,
these
okay.
pairs are going to be bigger than just the immunity challenge.
You think they're
So
gonna do
a
we may be
tied
getting ahead of
destiny,
ourselves. Yeah,
yeah,
like oh
that
my
we
God,
only
that
see in LRGs, and they
that would
copied
be
it from us. But
crazy. That would be crazy.
yeah. And for anyone who
I
doesn't know
mean,
that, tied destinies is if one person in your, if you're, let's say Ty and I are a pair and I get voted out, Ty also gets voted out.
yeah.
So I wonder if they're going to do that.
That honestly, I'm down for that. That's new. That's cool. Like that's not splitting randomly and then having two tribals. Let's do something fun and like, that's crazy. And so then one person sits out probably because that's an odd number. There
That's a
in there.
great point because there is 13, right? Yeah, there's 13
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. So
I
someone probably
wonder. I
got
wonder if
exiled or
someone else is
something.
going to exile.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well,
So
now I'm in. We're ahead of ourselves, but I'm in
yeah,
for next
we'll
week
see. We'll
now.
see. It's just tough because like if let's whoever is partnered with Coach could be in trouble.
Yeah.
Or partnered
That
with
that
Tiffany
makes
could be in trouble.
it makes you, it gives you a chance to get out a big threat with it while being like, well, like you were tied to the person that we wanted to go, like I don't know.
Hmm.
It's like it gives someone an extra excuse. So not tough to speculate too much on it. They'll, whenever I get excited about something, they're like, it's that, but a little bit worse in some way. Let's see what they, let's see what they do to figure that out for us.
Right. So back to the original episode 5 boots, we had Angelina and Charlie. Charlie is one of my favorite players of all time. And
Really?
yeah, because I just feel like he was so robbed of that win. But he ends up, not playing great this episode. And it's really close between Rizzo and Charlie, but Operation Bad Blood is a success. And Rizzo ends up in a 4-3 vote staying. And I loved how close it was. I loved that Camilla was the swing vote here. Rizzo was able to get Suri on board after Suri was extremely shocked that he was even on the season and was just laughing about the fact that he calls himself Riz God. And he was like, she was like, honestly, like kind of annoyed that she was on a tribe with him. And then now they're like besties
Hmm.
and they are literally one of the tightest
Yeah.
alliances in the game. We have Emily, Christian,
Yeah, they're locked
Devins,
in.
so
Yeah.
locked in, and then Suri, Ozzy, Rizzo locked in. The what was it? The
Ceri's
Sir
Wizard of
Wizard of
Oz.
Oz is the alliance name.
Ceri's Wizard of Oz. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so I think that's going to be a great alliance to watch. I do think out of those two, three-person alliances, one of them will win the game, in my opinion. Um, so my winner pick will come from one of
Yeah.
those six, but we'll get to that at the end.
I think it'll be tough. Yeah, it's gonna be tough for like that honor and integrity, like loyal group to like be one of them. Like they're gonna make it far. A lot of them are gonna make it far. but I think it'll be tough for one of them to emerge. Yeah. I've loved seeing that. Angelina and Charlie, I think both were like probably didn't get great edits, and it's because they didn't go very far and they kind of were one dimensional in what they had in this season, which is unfortunate, but like it does have to happen to some people that are when you get booted. So it is what it is there. Yeah, Charlie, how you feel about Charlie is how I feel about Camilla. I love Camilla. She's one of my favorites from the new era and my favorite, one of my favorites of all time, honestly. I think she's hilarious. I think
Yeah.
she's way better at the game than anybody gives her credit for, or I guess people do give her credit for it at this point. Um, but yeah, like so it's 48 was a slog to get through, honestly, but like we got her and Kyle. I love both of them out of it. So unfortunate that neither of them had a great showing here. I thought I was like, damn, I really wanted her to be on a season not with Kyle. And then that happened like immediately. And I was like, all right, let's go. And then it's still short-lived, unfortunately. So
Yeah, they
yeah,
did
it's
both get
some
kind of
tough
screwed by that.
eliminations.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With
these five has been tough.
with Kyle getting medevaced and then Camilla, I honestly because Kyle was in a great position, and then Camilla, I think did a great job. I think she got screwed over by pre-gaming because
That's what it sounds like.
yeah,
Yeah.
Chrissy, Stephanie, Jonathan, they were all pre-gaming together. I think they were all part of the Zoom Alliance, is what they call it,
Yeah.
which also included Coach Colby and Joe, along with those three. And so they already
Hmm.
had the majority going into that vote. Tiffany and Camilla were on the outs. I think it would have been a much more difficult decision if Jonathan was not blindsided by Camilla in the previous vote. Then I think Jonathan actually would have had a very tough decision. But
That made his
after that
decision quite
happened, I think
easy.
he's going with
Yeah.
the pregame alliance at that point because he knows that he
Yeah.
can trust them.
Yeah, and honestly, Chrissy's pitch of like they're not gonna vote for you, and you know that at the if you're sitting there at the end, I was like, damn, she's right, and
She's right.
he knows she's right. So like that's decision enough. Like get one of them off the jury right now. You're pretty sure D's not gonna vote for you, regardless of how it goes. Like unless you like really turn this around, but like yeah, I mean, as soon as that pitch happened, I was like, I was never fooled by Chrissy's like fake give up thing, like I've heard a lot of people talk about. I was like, nah, she's got this one. I was nervous for Camilla as soon as I saw that split. I was like,
Yeah.
damn, this is a bad spot. Her or Tiff. I was like, one of them is in a really bad spot.
hmm Um, and it was sad to see Colby go. I really liked Colby on this season. I think he was in a great position to do really well. He was part of the Honor and Integrity Alliance, but I don't think he was like I can never break my word. Like, if anyone breaks their word, they will never win this game type mentality. I
Yeah.
think he was just like wanted loyal players, and he knew the honor and integrity people were loyal, and those were people he wanted to play with. Um, and I think that if he made it through to the merge, I think he could have done some real damage in this game. I thought Coach would have been the better person to vote out because he is a little more of a wild card. He is um, very he seems like a very big threat as well, and I think he was more so the one holding the group together than Colby was, but they all thought that Colby was the mastermind of the group. But no, Colby was just a really good social player, but he wasn't the mastermind of the group. Coach was. And
Hmm.
so bringing Coach back to the merge definitely um, made that honor and integrity group even closer and that they're definitely going to stick together moving forward. But we don't know how long Coach has because of everything that happened, which we'll talk about in a sec. Um, what do you think about the whole Colby
Yeah. Yeah.
coach
I think
situation
there's
on who should have gotten voted out?
I understand what they're thinking. Colby is more like pragmatic choice because he's someone that like if you see them getting to the end, you could see them more easily winning than Coach. Like even if Coach is gonna play as we saw today, like maybe they don't know he's about to do all that, but maybe they could feel it coming, or they know coaches more volatile, and it's not someone as level-headed that Colby can be, which makes him more of a threat for that reason. Yeah, I think you're exactly right that Colby was seen as like more of the head of the snake, but Coach definitely was, or at least is like in name is, maybe that there's like, yeah, we'll let him be the figurehead. Um, I don't think a lot of that like loyalty and integrity. I think really only Coach and Joe are the ones that play that way of like you can't break your word to anyone, like sort of thing. Like I feel like Jonathan's a little more malleable in that way. Chrissy, Steph too. So
Yeah.
like that's probably like so even Jonathan like in this episode is laughing at Coach about his like haikus and like talking to himself and stuff. Like he's in on the joke. Like he knows the person he's aligned with, like anyone else, is like someone that is probably going to be have you're going to have a hard time voting for them unless they completely change at their final tribal council and how they've ever done anything. And I
Hmm.
don't think Coach is that way. So I think that yet Suri and they probably considered that a little bit. Yeah, you don't want to make him like an enemy on the jury, but maybe someone that like is less threatening than in the end than Colby. And so I understand that choice, and it's just tough to see a legend go out that way. Everyone would have been so pissed if Coach went out that way too, and now we're all pissed that Coach is still here. So you can't win. It is what it is. We're like, oh, Coach going out before merge, that's just a tragedy. That's what it would have been last week. And now this week it's like, oh, this guy. God, get
Right.
this guy off my screen. Like we all were so excited about Coach beforehand, and it's like, damn, quickly we get back into it. Justice for the coach of LRG's Andrew Denson, who hates TV Survivor Coach so much, and is now justified in this episode that we saw today as to why.
Yeah. And he was just such a great person to bring back. Like just it's just so
Yeah,
laughable everything that he's doing. Just the
yeah,
haikus. He got so excited about the stupidest of haikus.
yeah.
War has been declared. Did you hear it?
Well,
Like
okay,
what the hell was that?
I wrote it down. I wrote down the haikus. Okay, okay.
Okay, let's hear
So
him.
okay, I wrote down the first one. I didn't write the one down like right before it goes to tribal or whatever. But the
Uh-huh.
one where he goes to like, did you hear it? And Emily, uh, uh Christian, whoever else it is there, and Jonathan are like, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't a haiku. He did it. It's the wrong number. It's the wrong count. But betrayal all around. That's six, wrong already. Um, Nobody tells the truth like Coach. Eight, also wrong. War has been declared. That's five. Okay, he got one right. But no, it wasn't even a haiku. So like I don't know. But it was also interspliced with like D talking shit about him. Like that was great. Like and Tiffany, like I'm gonna drag him through the mud. War has been declared. Like that was really well edited, really funny. And it's just like Coach going from this like revere, like I don't know, pregame, like everyone's like, I want to work with Coach, to now everyone's like, yeah, like it's
Right.
like what 14 days living with someone does is like, or not even 12 days, whatever, what day they're on now. I don't know. 16, I'm not sure what day they're on, but it's like, living that long with someone really just, you can tell the effect it has on people.
Yeah, exactly. And something I also want to talk about right before we dive more into the episode is Genevieve. Genevieve, I think I agree with Rob Sesternino in what he said on his podcast about how Genevieve is the most unlucky player in Survivor history. Just insane. Her number one gets medevaced. Two of her
Agreed.
allies lose
Mhm.
votes in her original tribe. She has only one enemy, and that's Aubrey, like arch enemy. Then they get swapped. They get swapped, and she's on the same tribe as Aubrey again. Now, Aubrey gets a boomerang idol. So she doesn't even find one, but she has an idol. And then Genevieve finds two idols, but can't even keep either of them and has to send them away. That is just ridiculous. She could have had two idols and then therefore saved herself, even if she is in a bad position on that five-person tribe. But then after all of that, she gets swapped again onto a tribe of only five out of 15 possible people with Aubrey. But it's fine if Aubrey wants to go after her, like as long as Aubrey's not the vote and Genevieve could be safe. But yet, not only does she get swapped on with Aubrey, but with Christian and Devons, who sent Aubrey the idol, so they were locked in as a majority three. And that is
Yeah.
just
It's just, yeah.
absolutely wild that she got so screwed so many times by so many different things. And I guess I understand like Genevieve could have possibly convinced them to vote Joe. Um, but Genevieve tried to get out Devins and convince Christian to vote with them when they are like one of the tightest pairs in the entire game and used that to convince Christian, like, you guys are the tightest pair. Like, you need to vote him out so that people don't target you. It's like, no, I want to keep my number one ally. It's so
He's
early in
like,
the
no,
game.
that's what
People
I've
are
been
not going to
doing
be
with voting
like,
out.
they're not
Yeah.
going to be like, oh, Christian and Devins are so close out of 14 people. We need to get them out. Like, no,
Yeah.
you need to have your allies. So I
Yeah.
thought that
I
was
mean,
a little silly by Genevieve. But besides that, like, she could have had an idol, two idols, saved herself, been fine. She was set up so well socially with so many people wanting to work with her. I think she would have done exceptionally well if she got past that vote and had two idols, but didn't. And one of those idols would have been secret. Like, she would have played that idol, and everyone thinks she doesn't have an idol anymore because of the one that she would have given to Rizzo. She wouldn't have told anybody about. And then she would have had an idol that no one knows about, and that would have been deadly in the game.
yeah, yeah, it's it really, really unfortunate, especially for like I think by and large the favorite every but most the majority's favorite new era person of coming back. Like I feel like of all the people returning, people thought she had a pretty good shot, and people were really excited to see Genevieve again.
Yep.
Probably because everyone loved 47 so much. Um, that she was definitely a favorite. So to see her get just this horrible string of luck was really, really tough. Um, yeah, that's like, that's exactly what Christian did in getting rid of Mike White and Angelina. That's why he got rid of them, is because they were the obvious pair. He's not going to further chop himself down by getting rid of another one of his major allies that he could have had. He already kind of did that. So, like, yeah,
Hmm.
that's getting rid of Joe and saying like Joe's going to be with Coach and Colby and all of them. Like that probably would have been the way to go.
Yeah.
But you don't, hindsight, whatever, you don't know. That's tough. Maybe that wasn't an option for some other reason. I don't know, but it's yeah. So super unlucky for Aubrey and Genevieve to be swapped onto the same tribe twice with each other, the same group twice.
Yeah.
Because she's just the one person that had it out for Genevieve. I don't know. People were probably scared of Genevieve, but I think people were generally trying to work with her. So yeah, that whole group got really snake bitten by losing votes and everything else. And just they looked really strong from the first episode. I said that is the strongest like pre-merge group. That group on of Colby, Genevieve, um and Stephanie and that company over there. And
Yeah.
then like there's only like one or two left. Like everybody's gone. So yeah, that was a wild group over there. And crazy twists led to just the decimation of that whole group.
Hmm. Yeah. And also, what's interesting is the fact that Genevieve sent her idols to the two people on exile.
Yeah, it's
So,
just
like, there
what
wasn't even a chance she could be swapped onto one of them,
yeah,
tribe with one of them who would vote with her.
every everything that could have gone wrong went wrong for her. And
Yeah.
I just knew that when her shot in the dark she played that, I thought that was gonna be it, that she was gonna play her shot in the dark and it was gonna hit.
Yeah. Hmm.
Not to be.
And then Colby couldn't play his shot in the dark because he didn't have a vote. He didn't even vote at all season 50, which is crazy to me.
Poor Colbster.
I know. But now that we have, done a very short recap of all five eliminations that have happened, let's dive, and we've talked about Coach, but let's dive some more into this episode. So we had for the immunity challenge, there was six, so two tribes of six from a schoolyard pick, which I wish we could see the schoolyard picks, but
Yeah.
they don't usually show it time for timing purposes, which is, I guess, fine because like we want to see more strategy. But I don't know.
Well,
I
so
think it would have been interesting to see.
yeah, I wanted to see it last season or a previous season. They released it as a secret scene, and this time the secret scene was just Coach naming giving Jonathan a nickname. That was the secret scene, and
Oh,
it's him giving him the nickname the Tidewalker, which he was gave himself at the start of the game. He was like, "No,
what?
I'm actually acting more like Dragon Slayer. I'm Dragon Slayer again. You're Tidewalker." That's the secret scene. We got
Oh wow.
40 coach confessionals in this episode, and the secret scene is more coach. It's like, okay, like let's
Right.
I would have loved to have seen the schoolyard pick. Yeah, that would have been great. There's a picture of Christian and Jonathan doing rock, paper, scissors that was released by CBS Survivor. So they obviously did that to choose who goes first. I would have loved to seen. I assume that Joe was picked first by Christian. Jonathan's team sucked ass. Just a horrible choice, horrible picks, Jonathan. I don't know
I,
what
I think
he was doing.
I was 100% thought the exact same thing. So I'm trying to think in Jonathan's mindset, why would he pick the group that he picked?
Yeah.
And I think that his thinking was, I need to have two puzzle solvers on my team.
Hmm.
After that, I just need um people that I can beat in the individual immunity challenge. I think he's thinking he wants to win individual immunity. So let's put on my team two people who can solve the puzzle because that's what it's going to come down to. And then everyone else, people that I can beat in the individual immunity challenge so I can win individual immunity. And he's just thinking, like, I'm just so big and strong. I can get this boulder and everyone up the wall just as fast as all the other people combined. And so that's what I think was going through his head. Like, even if we're slightly behind going into the puzzle, as long as we have two puzzle people and people he can beat in an individual immunity, he probably will win an individual immunity. And I think that's what he was thinking. But and it was
Yeah.
close. It was really close. And if that was the case, I do think Jonathan would have won an individual immunity. Um, but it just didn't end up happening.
Yeah. Yeah, very possible. Yeah, you look at who you can beat, you look at who you potentially want to be safe. I guess it's not just as simple as who's going to help me win this. I just thought putting Coach on the puzzle was a strange choice. Like you've got
Yeah.
Aubrey there, you've got Tiff there. Like I don't know, like I feel like both of them would be better at the puzzle than Coach. Like was it Chrissy and Coach? Is that who was doing it? Yeah, I'm sure
Chrissy and
Chrissy's
Coach, I
good,
thought
but
it was,
I
and
don't think.
Aubrey was there too, right?
Do you think? Yeah, do you think Jonathan thought Rizzo was maybe going to be a good puzzle guy and he was just assuming? And but we know that Rizzo is not good at puzzles.
Maybe.
Like I don't know.
Maybe.
This is what I would have wanted to see. We've got these groups of seven. I would love to see how they form, but oh well, it just comes down to the story being, will D win
Yeah. I
immunity or
want
not?
them to do
That's
that one
basically what
time
it
for
comes down to.
tribes. I want them to do a schoolyard pick for
Yeah,
tribes.
they used to do it every now and then.
That would have been,
At
I
least
think,
at
the
the
most
swap,
fair
they
for
were
the
good at
whole
the swap.
five, the whole group, because if they were to do like the five right before the merge, the three groups of five, and they did a schoolyard pick of some sort, not only are you thinking, who do I want on my tribe to vote with me, but you're also thinking, who do I want on my tribe so that I can possibly win immunity?
Yeah. And who
Um,
do I want to eliminate? And who do
and
I
who
want
do
to
I want to
target?
eliminate?
It would be kind of like Ascendance. The LRG. I don't know if you've watched that game before, but I mean, that's essentially what you kind of do in that one. You pick your group and you kind of want to maybe potentially target someone in that group when you're selecting them. So I
Hmm.
mean, that would have been fun. That's what I mean by like they could have done a three elimination. They just could have come up with some other way to make it a little bit more dynamic than you just randomly got like two people just randomly getting screwed from it, and three people because you've got Colby triple screwed with his no vote, no shot in the dark, and everything else. So
Yeah.
yeah, but we complain about the things and we still love the season, so it is what it is.
Yeah. And I loved Ozzy and Rizzo's reaction, but specifically Ozzy's reaction, finding out that three people got eliminated and the jury
Hmm.
has begun. He
Yeah.
was like, "What?"
Yeah, yeah. You
That
knew
was
they were
awesome.
they probably assumed it was a double at least.
Hmm.
But yeah, for three, that were probably like, what? Yeah, that definitely was a surprise to them. And I'm sure it seemed very crazy out there, but you just think about like what could have been, I guess.
Yeah, and now it's Ozzy's exile at this point.
Yeah, for real. I wonder if he's going back next week, like just hanging out the whole time.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, I don't know.
Um,
I'm not sure what's going to happen with that, but I'm glad that they've brought Exile back.
mhm.
I wish we'd see more of it though.
Yeah. And like have more people on exile maybe.
Yeah, find other ways to get them there, or, punishment for losing the a journey is going to exile or something, or who knows.
Okay, I like that. Instead of losing your vote, you just are on exile for a certain amount of time and can't
Eh,
communicate for strategy,
Yeah.
but you can still
And
vote. I think that would be good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The losing your vote does get a little tiresome.
Yeah.
A part of it.
So I want to hear your thoughts on this Jonathan Coach D confrontation because that is a big part
Yeah,
of this episode, a big
yeah,
part of why D ended up being a target, a big part in just Coach and Jonathan being ready to declare war.
yeah.
So what do you
So
think?
I think out of all of this, we got some pretty good stuff, right? Like it's pretty fun. Coach is the most Michael Scott like of any actual person or like Survivor player. He like mixes up his words. He like has this like weird honor. He says gallantly, which is not a word. He's mixing up gallant and valiant, I think. He says gallantly. It even put quotes around it because it's not an actual word. And credit to my partner Caroline, she pointed out that he's used that word before in another season. So it's just like I don't know why he does this and why he boxes himself into playing this way. He doesn't have to do this. He doesn't have to play this honor and integrity like thing and get to the end and be like fall on your sword like sort of thing. If he gets to the end and says like, no, I was just like you can play the game how you want. Like I did this and yes, I recognize that I'm a hypocrite. But he's not going to. So it's like I don't know. I feel like at the same time Jonathan's trying to like egg Dion. He's probably trying to do the same thing to Coach and just be like this is someone I'm going to keep working with, but like he's going to show his cards and be coach, like let him be coach, and he'll keep him around. So it's like I don't know how like what like I said before, I don't know when it happened, what all went into it, or when I think in her exit press, Dee said something about that happening pretty close to tribal. And in the episode, it made it seem like that happened pretty early on.
Oh,
So,
wow.
I'm not sure. Yeah, so I'm not sure when that whole like argument and everything happened. And I could be misunderstanding like what part of it she was talking about. But it did seem like Coach was like spiraling for that whole day. So, and it's just, it may not have, it may have been too much to like turn the vote on him there. And also people want Dee out. Like she's very good at the game and is going to win immunities too. Like people want her out. So that's not for nothing. People just want to target her because she's very good.
And the whole thing
But
with Emily.
like yeah, that whole thing, which I want, I think Emily's gameplay is intentionally kind of sloppy like that. It's like, oops, did I let out oh, I'm sorry. Like, like maybe it wasn't intentional, but I think at the same, I think it probably what, like, I think she probably was like, oh, just like if I say this casually to Rizzo, maybe it'll roll over, or maybe she probably knows that they're close and wants to break that up so she can get in there. Cerie's the same way, that's the reason Cerie's okay to vote for D. She's trying to bring Rizzo in closer to her and give Rizzo no other options. She may not know about this, him being invited into the Four Horsemen or whatever. I don't know. It was unclear whether he told her that. Obviously, she told Rizzo about Steph's thing that she got. So Cerie very clear. I think that is the alliance to watch, that
Yeah.
three with Ozzy. Um, and so I think that, like I wish they would have voted for Coach, but at the same time, they're probably like, D makes more sense for us, and Coach is someone we can get out later, or just deal with him for the next 12 days and bring him with us, and hopefully you win at final because he's not going to win. He's going to do the same thing he did in 23 when he got to the end, and he's going to be holier than thou. And man, Tiffany had some great confessionals this episode. I thought she did great in the way she talked about to the rest of the tribe, like I'm cool. Like I just need a second to myself. I'm calming down. Like she played that perfectly. She was great in her confessional about being so mad and like doing the mean girls thing with Jonathan. And then her voting confessional with Coach was like for Coach was just like I was like, man, that was perfection. Like she said what she wanted to say.
Yeah, I
More of
loved
that. We need
her.
that. Yeah, we need to bring it back.
Yeah, 100%. I know I loved that voting confessional, like an old school voting confessional. And the way that she was able to just show how angry she was in her confessionals the night of tribal council, but like was able to be calm and collected in front of everyone, but then in confessional was just like screaming and just so mad. Like I loved seeing that because one, that's great gameplay. And two, we got to see how she truly felt, and it was just I loved that part of the episode. It was the very beginning, but I loved seeing Tiffany truly
Yeah.
show how she felt in the confessionals. That she was it was bubbling
Mhm.
up because she couldn't say anything to them directly. Um, so that was really great. And the
Yeah.
whole thing with Emily spilling the beans, like that really messed with Rizzo, because Rizzo did not want Dee sharing this information. He didn't want anybody else to know about it. And that is like a betrayal of trust, and that's really tough. That ended up also making Rizzo not trust D anymore when they were in a tight alliance, which then therefore made Suri not trust Rizzo. I mean, not trust D, and then
Hmm.
therefore made Ozzy not trust D.
Yeah.
So that's already three people right there who do not trust D because of D sharing this with Emily, and then Emily spilling the beans. Um, I wonder if Emily said something he because she knew that D was probably going home, if not this round, maybe the next round. And because of that, she wanted to set herself up better with Rizzo, knowing Rizzo's going to be in the game rather than D, who's probably going to go out soon. And sharing that information would get
Yeah.
Emily maybe closer to Rizzo. Um, and develop some trust. I wonder if that's the reason. We never get that reasoning though. We only just make it seem like Emily is just this chaotic player who will just spill your secrets no matter what, which makes me think Emily is not winning this game.
I agree. I don't think the edit is leaning toward Emily winning. I think that, and I think I give her credit for this because I think going back to the way she handled the Mike White Ozzy thing when she came back in and she like told Ozzy, like she knew what she was doing. She knew Christian told her not to do that. And she knew if she quickly said something to Ozzy about it, like even if it doesn't go through with like telling him the whole plan and everything behind it, it's immediately going to absolve her in Ozzy's eyes afterward. Like she was trying to warn me, like, okay, we're cool. She did what she needed to do to
Yeah.
preserve that part of her alliance. I thought that was fantastically played by Emily, even if it pissed off Christian and it could have gone haywire, but she can't pull him aside. She can't have the whole conversation. So she quickly just says something to alert him. I thought this was similar and like sort of like oh, like, what about yours? Like, like, and maybe she was just tired and not thinking and didn't think that he knew. But I felt the real issue was like Dee could have played a response a lot better. She could, instead of like doubling down, like if you already told Tiff and Jonathan too, on top of telling Emily, if you just told Emily and she implied it was you, that's one thing. If you know the word is out there from someone that you are, maybe this blow up with Jonathan hasn't happened yet. I don't know. But like that it's out there, fess up, say like, yeah, I messed up. I was trying to build trust. Maybe there's some way to salvage it, and probably not.
Right.
The tide was pretty against her at this point anyway. But I think that was a misstep by D. Obviously, spilling the beans was a misstep, but I think she could have played the response better.
Yeah.
And I think that, like we saw with Aubrey, like the lying on top of like there's a certain lying that's allowed in Survivor, and there's a certain type of lying that's kind of like taboo, where it's like, do you think I'm stupid? Like, like that's the kind that really like annoys people, like Aubrey being like, I forgot,
That was so
or
stupid.
yeah, that's way worse than D being trying to be like, no, I didn't say anything. But like if I'm D, I would use that and I would use coach blowing up so much more against, I would stand up and say, instead of the secret whispering thing, because everyone knows what you're doing, I'd be like, I'm writing coach's name down. Tiff is writing coach's name down. That's two. If you want coach out and you think he's annoying and you don't think he's going to vote for you because your honor and integrity, don't let him get any further. Let's do it now.
Mhm.
Like maybe something like that would have been the play. But I think it probably all was all for naught anyway, and it was just against her, and it made too much sense for too many people to vote for D at this point.
Yeah, and I also think that how you were talking about Rizzo being now a part of the Four Horsemen alliance, um, I think that there was a chance that Coach could possibly be going home, but I think it was very smart, specifically for Rizzo, to make sure that he voted D out compared to Coach, even though he is not really feeling solid with the Four Horsemen Alliance and was feeling originally more solid with D going into the round. Um, I think that keeping Coach in the game for as long as possible until you need to vote him out is critical because that gives you so many allies. Because if you keep Coach in the game, Coach's alliance will trust that you are one of them and their honor and integrity, they're going to protect you. So Rizzo has Chrissy, Stephanie, Jonathan, Joe, Coach. Those five people will not vote for Rizzo until Rizzo votes one of them out. And I think having that in the game for as long
Probably,
as
yeah.
possible is a smart thing for Rizzo because Rizzo also has the Suri Ozzy. So that's
Yeah.
5 + 2, 7 plus
Hmm.
himself. That's 8. So just going
Yeah.
into that, and also the fact that he has an idol, he is now at final
Hmm.
13, and only
Hmm.
5 people have not 100% given him their word that they will not vote for them.
Yeah.
And that is not majority.
Yeah.
So
Right.
at this point, until Rizzo pisses someone off, or someone realizes, even though we want Rizzo in this game, we want to get rid of the idol. Until that happens, Rizzo will not go home. There's no majority that would even consider voting for Rizzo. So he's in a great
I
spot
think
right now.
I think he's by far in the best spot of
Yeah.
anyone. Because of everything you just said, and because one, people don't want to get rid of him because they don't know who sent him the idol, and they don't want it to boomerang to someone else.
Right.
So not gonna, they have no reason to send him out without playing. So they want him to play it. If anything, they just want him to play it.
That's
Um,
just such a great point because if you keep Rizzo in the game, you know where the idol is. But if you
yeah,
take Rizzo out, then
it boomerangs or he plays it and now you don't know where it is if they put it back in.
right,
So yeah, so I think he's in a great spot. I think probably this whole like D spilling the beans about Emily thing, D might have gone home anyway. It might have just been a tougher decision for Rizzo to make
right.
that decision now and
Yeah.
cut D, because if Sari and Ozzy are both in on it and coach and all of them are in on it and he's getting this four horseman thing, yeah, he's got the numbers anyway. Why I'm like, I can't tie my whole ship to D. That's no way to play. So it probably would have happened anyway. You're right. Like with everything you just said. Yeah, Rizzo's in a great spot. And then couple it just with the thought that I think he will have a hard time winning in the end against anyone on the whole season from the whole cast, no matter how he plays. I think he's got an uphill battle at the end because no one's seen him before. He's this new guy. People just met him. Like he's 26 and acts younger. Like,
Hmm.
like I feel like he will have a hard time winning at any point. So people have really no reason to get rid of him. Because they don't see how good of a player he is anyway. And I think he will have a better final tribal if he gets to the end than people will expect, but I still don't think he will win.
Yeah, and something that we heard in Dee's exit press too, which just makes just every episode, I feel like we get more and more insight on how truly amazing of a player Rizzo is. Um, Dee says that preseason, she said that she did not want to work with Rizzo and wanted to get Rizzo out as soon as possible because they did pregame together. They did have a call together, Rizzo and D, and Rizzo told D that Savannah was the fifth place person on her original season and that he got fourth, but she got fifth.
Hmm.
And originally going into the season, that's what they were going to say. They were going to say that Savannah was fifth place and Rizzo was fourth. But Sophie Bellardi from season 49 called Savannah and Rizzo right before they got on the plane, and because she heard that some of the people on the cast knew that Savannah was the winner, so to quickly said like abort the mission of pretending like Savannah got fifth place. You need to tell the truth because there are people on the cast who know you won, and so that will blow up your game if you lie. And so
Hmm.
Rizzo thought they were going into it saying that she was fifth place. So he had already told Dee that she was fifth place. And once they found out that Savannah was the winner, Dee didn't trust Rizzo even more than that. So it hurt their relationship going into the game. Yet Rizzo still was able to charm Dee and get Dee to be like, wow, like I love Rizzo. I really want to work with him. Like I'm going to protect him over Charlie, who Dee actually was close to going into the game. So the fact that you're
Yeah.
close to
Yeah,
someone going
it's
into the game, you going into a game don't want to work with someone, but the person you don't want to work with makes you go against your friend from the outside world. That is just great social game by Rizzo and just proves that like, literally everyone wants to be in an alliance with him. He's now part of the Four Horsemen. The coach, sorry, Suri and Ozzy want to work with him. Dee and Camilla wanted to work with him. Like it's just everybody wants to work with him.
yeah.
He's doing a great job, and he has an idol. It's just amazing.
Do you do you think that just like women are not allowed in the Four Horsemen Alliance? Like how did Rizzo jump
Oh
Steph
yeah,
and
100%,
Chrissy? Like what
100%.
what the hell? Like oh I'm gonna put this like that you Rizzo, you're gonna replace Colby. What? It's
Yeah,
so
why are you
funny.
like, I'm
It's so
inviting you
he's
into the
just
alliance? Like, just be like,
he's
hey, do you
so
want to
out of
do a four
touch.
horse in an alliance? Would have been better than you're going to replace Colby. Just say, hey, I have an idea
So
for an
funny.
alliance. Let's do the four horsemen. That would have
People
been better.
do this is so okay. This goes back and I'm not saying Coach is obviously not a good survivor player, but he's a good survivor character and can't fault that.
Yeah.
So, but like, this is why they cast people that are so clumsy because it's good TV. If they just cast everyone that has some tact in the way they speak with people, it wouldn't be a fun TV show. So you've got people that are like, yeah, we all talked and we want to bring you in to our group. Every season, some doofus says something like that to people. I'm like, oh my God, easy is it to make it seem like they are more important? Like you can't make them feel less important. And coach just does it so blatantly. And maybe he feels, powerful and like he's in the leadership position to do something like that to this
Uh-huh.
young buck. That's probably a lot of it too. But like it's just like it's so funny. And it's just such bad gameplay. And Rizzo's so funny that he's like he says that multiple times about coach. He's like, man, coaches, this is such bad gameplay and so hard to work with, but it's coach. So here we go. Like, I thought there were a couple like all-time liners in this episode, I thought. One being Rizzo saying to coach when he's freaking out, we don't slay dragons at camp, we slay dragons at tribal.
That was so good.
I was like, that is so funny that this kid gets to say that to coach. And then as he says it, the camera like zooms out a little bit and you see Rizzo just kind of like smirk because he knows what he just said on TV to like to coach.
Yeah.
He like what a dream. Like just a few months ago, this guy had never played Survivor and it was a dream for him. And now he's saying to coach as he has a spiral meltdown, like we slay dragons at tribal. So good.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I thought was an all-timer was Christian saying that he doesn't know why coach hates him. Maybe Christian looks like someone that gave coach a wedgie in high school. Is so good because how many times has Christian been on someone saying that? That's typically what you say about a Christian type character,
Right.
right? So
Exactly.
him saying that, and then there's like staring at the camera after was so funny. I was like, man, these people are clearly having a good time out there, which
Hmm.
is what we love to see in these seasons. But um,
Yeah,
the
that's something I wanted to talk about too, with regard to
yeah,
Christian.
this episode was great for that. Just yeah,
Yeah, with regards
yeah,
to
let's
Christian, how Coach did not want him in on the split vote because he was in the middle. He was a middle person. Yet you're saying this to Rick Devens, who is Christian's number one ally and also in the middle. Yeah. And then I forgot who it was. Maybe it was Rizzo, but you're like, Rick is in the middle and you just told him this. Like, that was like such a
yeah,
blunder, such
it
a
was Rizzo.
terrible
Like
thing.
I don't know what Coach's interpretation of who's in the middle is.
Right.
Like he's trying to do this split and he's talking about the middle. Is the middle just Tiffany and Christian? Or like I guess he's hoping that not everyone hears about the split, but you're telling Rick Devens, who is a middle person, so about the split. So like Rick Devens to you is not in the middle. Or but like I don't that doesn't but so Emily is and Christian is maybe. So they maybe don't know shouldn't know about the split and Rick Devens is supposed to be in the majority. I don't know. I think that everybody's interpretation of who that middle group is kind of different,
Hmm.
which causes is causing some issues. Because to me, there's not really a middle. It's very clearly like this top group and all the other people,
Right.
and then D and Tiff on the bottom, kind of. So if that's the middle, sure. But and Aubrey, I guess, is kind of on the bottom too. Aubrey and Tiff kind of have nowhere to go, no allegiances. So I think they're probably in a good spot. And now the focus is going to come down to like the Christian and Emily's, who are those middle threats. So, I get nervous for them when he starts talking about the middle people and wanting to target them, because I still think maybe it's too early for that other group to go against this big group unless you. But well, who knows what's going to happen in this next episode, with
Right.
the double the stakes, whatever that means. So I think that leaves a lot that's going to make it tough and leave it up to a lot of interpretation. Um, but yeah, that him talking about the middle so openly like that is bad gameplay, but at the same time, it makes me worry for Rick and Christian and Emily because they're going to be seen as the middle sooner rather than later, if they're
Hmm.
not already.
Yeah. And what I want to hear from you also is your thoughts on Aubrey's idol play. Because
Yeah,
everyone pretty much, like most people, not everyone, but I'd say like half the tribe knows about Rizzo's idol. Everyone knows about Ozzy's and everyone knows about Aubrey's. Yeah, I understand that Ozzy had immunity and not everyone knows about Rizzo's idol, but why do you think they're so gung ho on Aubrey? You need to play this idol, and they don't even mention the possibility of, oh, don't worry, like Ozzy will play his next week. He just has immunity. Like they're just like Aubrey, like you need to play this idol and get out of the game, but they're not as worried about the other idols. I mean, I think it's just
yeah,
because of the fact that she made the dumbest lie ever. Um, and
that's
people
it.
now don't trust her because of it. But what do you think?
Yeah. I think that's 100% it. If she goes, yeah, I Genevieve was clearly going to be it, and I trusted y'all that you would not vote for me. So I wanted to keep it to save it for us for another one, whatever. Like, I don't know. She knows she can only play it for herself. I assume she knows that they know she can only play it for herself. So that line, now that I'm thinking about it, that may not work. The play it for us sort of thing may not work,
Right.
because it's like a not fully powered idol. Um, but at the same time, like I feel like that's an all-time bad lie. Like I forgot to play it as like all-time bad for one of the all-time good strategic players
Yeah,
in
I
Survivor, I
forgot to
think, of
play my
Aubrey.
idol.
Yeah, that's such a blunder. It's so bad. But at the same time, like I understand like I don't I that is why I think people were so adamant about her playing it. Is just you kind of have to show us that you're gonna do what you say you're gonna do. And if you continue not to do it, no one's gonna want to work with you. And at this point, she has kind of no one that. confidently, that's like in her, I guess that she feels super close with. Maybe Tiff, but Tiff is in such a bad spot too. So, I think she feels like I just need to do this and lay low and kind of sneak back in. So I think Aubrey's not in a terrible spot now, but she's going to have to do a lot of work to get to the end, and have any agency to win the game at this point. But she's uh
Yeah.
she's definitely lowered her threat level a lot from where it was when she had an idol. So if that was her goal, mission accomplished.
Yeah, and I also think that not only was it the fact that she lied, but also she has some allies, but I think there's people who have stronger connections with other people than with her. So I think she is someone who is on the bottom, and I think that's the main reason why they wanted the idol out. They don't want someone on the bottom to have an idol where they could save themselves. Um, and Rizzo and Ozzy are not considered on the
Hmm.
bottom. So why make them get rid of their idol? Because if that's the case, then the people who are trying to get Ozzy's idol out or Rizzo's idol out are going to no longer be people who can work with Ozzy or Rizzo because then they'll be upset with why do you want to take my idol out? I thought we were working together and that could blow up, but like nobody's really working specifically with Aubrey, so like it's not that big of a deal if they're like, "Oh, we just need you to lose your idol," and they actually have a reason for it now. Because if they didn't have a reason, then it would be like declaring war practically. Like, all right, like we're just trying to get Aubrey's idol out, and then we're gonna vote her out the very next time. This allowed them to be like, we want your idol out, but we don't want you to go home. We just didn't like that you lied, and you need to like establish some more trust. So I think they got away with it, but I don't think Aubrey's in a great position. Um, and definitely she's going to have
No.
to work hard to make it far. Something that I think is interesting that I really want to see come to fruition in the near future. It's kind of did because he said that he wanted to vote for coach and that he would have if the votes were there. But I want to see Ozzy versus coach.
Hmm.
Like we
Hmm.
we know that they were having trouble in the beginning of the game. They're still in the game together at the merge. When is it going to be Ozzy trying to go for coach, coach trying to go for Ozzy? Like I'm ready for it.
Yeah, yeah. I hope we get that sooner rather than later. I hope we do get it. And it's not just like one of them gets cut in this sort of like if it's like a double thing or a split thing or whatever they do. Um, I hope it doesn't like remove that storyline or make that storyline less impactful because that is a big one. I kind of thought that the coach was vote was going to happen this time when it looked like Rick said to Aubrey, vote coach at Tribal. Like maybe that was some editing and he said D said vote coach. Like maybe that's what he actually said to her, but that
Mhm.
made me think. So I was like, wow, like that it actually is getting some momentum. I didn't think it was actually going to happen, but I thought maybe there would be one more than one vote for coach in that
Mhm.
in there this time, which would have really sent him on a spiral. That would have been fantastic, So that's what if I was Rick Devens or someone, I would have just done that and like thrown another coach vote in there just to be like, let's watch this crash and burn. Like this would be
Yes, yes. No,
this
that
would
would have been so smart and I would have
this would have been
loved to see
hilarious.
that.
This would have been hilarious. Yeah. So because he sees Tiffany's one vote and he's like, but he sees a second one and he's gonna woo. So
Yeah.
yeah, that would have been great. So I guess it's gonna kind of come down to how it goes. He got his way, so he's gonna calm down and be chill until one other person says something. So we'll see what these pairings are. If it is some sort of like tied destinies thing, whoever's paired with Aubrey and Tiff is probably in a tough spot, especially if they're like a threat, in a tough spot. So like, how does it work for like if they're tied destiny? How do idols work? How does
I was
that's
just about to bring that up. That's a great
I don't
point.
I don't want to speculate too much about something that we don't know for sure happening. But that sort of aspect is like a pretty confusing part. I've never played a game where that's happened, so I've never seen it firsthand.
Hmm. I wonder if it could be maybe it's not tied destinies and maybe it's like whoever your partner is, like you can't vote for them
Hmm. Hmm.
or
Hmm.
something
Two
like
immunity,
that.
you win immunity together. and then you or like there's two immunity winners, you think? Or do you think the two like the pairings will square off for one immunity winner?
Oh, interesting. I wonder. Yeah,
You know,
maybe both of them
with
win
that many
immunity.
people, a lot of the times when there's that many people, they do like one man and one woman are immunity winners.
Right.
So they could just do like a pair
I don't know.
too, you know.
I
So
think that they
I
would
don't
do
know.
one immunity winner is my guess. But then something with the pairs, like still like whoever your pair is, it's going to
Yeah.
have an effect in the game. But I feel like they're still going to do like two pairs make it to the end, and then
Yeah.
it's a 1v1v1v1 for immunity. That's what I'm thinking. But yeah,
Yeah.
with the whole thing
Yeah.
with
Right.
idols, like if you
Did you
play the idol,
one thing I wanted to
what will happen? Like if you play it on yourself, because it can only be played on yourself, does that mean that, let's say Ozzy and Aubrey are together? If
mhm.
Aubrey gets all the votes, then is Ozzy still safe if he plays his idol? I mean, I would assume so. So then that wouldn't result in two people going home. Does that mean that maybe
Yeah, I
Aubrey
don't
now
know.
gets to be safe because of this? It'll be interesting to see if that even is, or we could be thinking it's tied destinies and it's just not, and it has something completely different to do with the game, similar to what we were just talking about. Maybe you just can't vote for
Yeah.
your partner or
Right.
something. But
Yeah, I don't know what I'm not sure what's gonna happen. Did you notice who voted for Tiff? Because I wrote it down. I don't know if that's gonna like I don't know if Tiff's probably not the type of player that's gonna be like, y'all voted for me on the split, like whatever. Like I'm done with y'all. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. But I was
mhm.
surprised. Steph did relent and vote for Tiff. Coach did, Joe, and it was Ozzy was the fourth Tiffany vote, which I
Wow.
thought was odd that Ozzy was one of the ones that went that way. Yeah. So like I said, if it was like, you know, if Coach was the split vote and four people wrote his name, hell to pay. But Tiffany, I think she's not going to be like, I need to know who it was, you know, like I don't think that she's that type of player.
Right.
But I just thought that that was interesting that
I thought it was
how
interesting
that
with
split
Stephanie.
ended up happening because yeah, Stephanie and Ozzy both were pretty much like, I'd really rather vote D. And Steph was like, I'm not voting Tiffany. And just
Right.
she did. Like, yeah. So coach makes sense. He's the one orchestrating this, and he'd be like, fine, I'll just do it. Joe will do whatever, apparently. I don't know what I don't know what Joe's doing.
Yeah.
I have no idea what Joe is doing, honestly. He's just hanging out.
He is
And
just
being
hanging out.
honestly super honest and loyal. Honest and loyal. That's all. And staring at you like this.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
getting rocked
He's got
back
those
and forth by
eyes.
Christian.
Coach was doing it too this last episode, talking to him in the hammock. I don't know if he was swinging him, but he was like, you know, I bet they regret not getting rid of Joe because it's just another number for this honor and integrity bullshit, you know? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know, like whatever. That's in the past. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. This next vote is uh gonna be pretty fun. Um, you know, there's just so much up in the air. It's hard to predict things coming up.
I know, especially with this whole like we don't know what's going to happen with this pair thing, how it's going to affect the vote or
Mm-hmm.
not. I do think that
100%.
Tiffany and Aubrey are in tough spots. I think Coach is in a tough spot. I think Jonathan is in a tough spot. Um, but Jonathan, I feel like out of the entire alliance, is being portrayed as, even though
The
they're all
strategic,
not
yeah.
being portrayed as men very strategic and social. Like one of them is a social, one is strategic. Usually, if it's being portrayed that way, Jonathan, I feel like is being portrayed in the best winner equity mindset.
Hmm.
The fact that when Jonathan was causing this fight with D, like his coach got a confessional about like we're going to war. And then Jonathan got a confessional of like, I did this specifically to get a reaction out of her so that people would want to vote her out. Like that
Yeah.
was a strategic confessional from him.
Hmm.
And we aren't really getting many strategic confessionals from everyone else in that alliance. Um,
Yeah.
so I feel like he's being portrayed when like there's so much ability based on what he's been doing to portray him in a terrible light, and he's not being portrayed as bad as I would expect him to be portrayed. So I think he could actually go further than I originally thought. I thought he would be like one of the first three voted out of the merge, but he might end up making it further than I expect because of this. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's got a good shot. I think he and Rizzo are in the best spots, honestly, right now. Jonathan will be, he's just a big target anyway, literally and figuratively,
Mhm.
a big target too. So it's like at some point people are going to be like, do we want him to keep winning? But in 42, for him it was kind of like, yeah, he can keep winning because no one's gonna. He was kind of like the goat that kept winning challenges, like I felt like he wasn't going to win if he got to the end of 42. Now maybe he shows a little bit more strategy behind his game and plays better, and he does have that, but maybe that previous perception of, oh, he's just a meathead that's going to win challenges and be loyal and be provider, um and he's hoping that'll win, but really he's got a lot more going on underneath. If he has like a thing at Final Tribal where he's like, I studied under the tutelage of Boston Rob and blah blah blah, like that's just gonna like that just like is like some exciting stuff for people to hear. So that might alone just like, and he talks about the strategy he has. I think he's got a good shot if he gets to the end, if he's got the right people on the jury to vote for him.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the thing. The
so
people
yeah,
on the
I
jury is
think
going to be his downfall, I think, if anything.
yeah, it just depends on how he plays it. I think he can play it in a way where if people can look beyond like him personally, and look beyond like his, the different views they might have for him personally and with like the game itself and the way he plays the game. If people are be able to look on and not sour about it and are like, no, and they think he played a good game, then I think he could win. But it's also like a lot's got to happen for Jonathan or anyone from this like integrity group to get to that point and have
Yeah.
the ability to win against anyone that is not in that integrity group. If anyone gets up there and is like, I played honor and loyal, they're not going to win. And I think that like a couple people know that, and I think a couple people don't know that, and I think that's Coach. I think he thinks that he can control what people think, but I think by and large, when he's like, no one's going to win if they don't get up there and if they talk about the way they
Yeah.
playing the game this way, it's like, no, Coach, no one's going to win if they play the game your way, actually.
Right.
So whatever.
No, exactly. And there's two last things that I wanted to talk about. One thing I wanted to mention was in a post game press interview with D, we find out that there actually was no true chance that Coach was going home. It was pretty set in stone that D was going home. It was that she was not trying to get majority to vote for Coach. She was trying to get there to be enough Coach votes to outweigh the TIFF votes in case her shot in the dark hit. She knew that she was getting majority of the votes, but if it hit, Tiff was going home, and she did not want Tiff to go home. So she just wanted to get a couple of votes on Coach to hopefully make that be enough to be more than what was split onto Tiff. Um, so I
That
thought
makes
that was
sense.
interesting to find out because I actually thought there could have been a possibility where Coach goes home, but it
Yeah.
seemed like it
I
was not going to happen. It was
I
just they were
still
trying to get a
think
couple.
the better way to play that, even if that's her goal, is to stand up and be like, you know what, I'm voting Coach because you're a hypocrite and you're this and you're that. Do what Jonathan says he was doing to you to Coach, because he's gonna blow up too. He's not gonna sit there and speak in haikus if you're yelling at him. Like he's going to have a response. And that alone may make some more people be like, all right, let's vote for Coach. If it really does get bad, like, and yeah, maybe it's transparent what you're doing. You're just trying to rile him up. But I think that's a better play to get a couple more votes on him than sneaking over to this person and be like, vote Coach, I have the numbers. I'm like, if you had the numbers, why would you be running over there to you know
Right.
see it? Like, but at
No,
that
no,
point,
that's a great point. Like, yeah, like going to everybody and
you're
saying I
just
have
you're
the
just doing
numbers,
what you
vote
can
Coach
at that
when you
point. So
don't.
like, yeah,
Um, Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
People know you don't have the numbers, like,
yeah,
or you
exactly.
wouldn't
If
be
you had
getting
the
up.
numbers, then you would have
So
been one of the
whatever.
numbers. Um, and what I think is also
Right. Right.
makes it tough is you are uh, going into the vote, knowing who you're going to vote for, and then you're told to vote for someone and that you have the numbers. What are the numbers? Like if D was like, these are the people voting for coach, vote for coach to be in the majority, that's different than just saying I have the numbers because what are your numbers? They don't know, and I think it's less risky to go with the original plan that they were going to do than go with coach. D was lying, doesn't actually have the numbers, and now you're on the bottom because you didn't go with the plan originally. So uh you need to know
Yeah.
who the
Right.
numbers are going to be
Right.
before you can vote and change your vote going into tribal.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of people were probably hoping for one more coach vote in there just to be like, or like maybe that's why Rick said it to Aubrey is because he was hoping for one more coach vote in there just to be
Yeah.
like, like that's I mean that's what I think about. I'm like, man, how can I like let's throw some water on this grease fire, like like that's what I would be thinking.
Yeah. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is the Stephanie challenge and advantage that she got. Um,
Yeah.
so she had to have her hand above her head, arm above her head for an hour, and then she got an advantage. If not, she would lose her vote. I love this challenge. It's so upsetting that this is a one
Hmm.
person timed challenge. I would have much rather had 13 people or 14 people having your arm raised and then the last person standing wins immunity. Like I think that would be more exciting. I love those types of physical challenges, endurance challenges that we actually get to see a ton of people compete in. But like I feel like a lot of the good endurance
Hmm.
challenges usually are only a couple of people like competing in it. Usually it's the paired challenges. Like they always like the one that they just did with 15 people for the Blood Moon twist. That one usually is
Hmm.
the final four of the like paired challenge. Like whichever two pairs get it make it to the end, you guys are doing this challenge.
Yeah.
And that is a challenge I like to see a lot of
Right.
people compete in. So I'm glad they did that for the final 17 where with the 15 people, but this was also going to be one
Hmm.
that I wish a lot of people got to compete in and only one person got to compete in, which I didn't love. But
Yeah,
I
it's
do
I
love this challenge, so I'm glad we got to see it again. And so yeah, what do you think about the challenge?
I think I liked that it was an endurance challenge on the journey. It's never something like that I, as far I don't remember it ever being something like this.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was my initial thought too. I was like, this is their like half measure response to being like, we have to put this iconic challenge into 50, but we're gonna do it in this way instead of doing it in a challenge because we don't want it
Hmm.
to go for 5 hours or whatever. Like I think that's the reason they don't do these big endurance challenges anymore with a bunch of people is because they don't want them going for however long they could go if you let people just go up there and say you have to win immunity for it. So that if they limit it to an hour, then that's that and that's fine. But yeah, it would have been a lot cooler to have a bunch of people. It would have been a lot cooler to have like the colored water because that was always part of it too. Like your green bucket, green water falls on you or whatever. Like you think of like either Heroes, Villains, or Micronesia, or maybe both. I don't remember. One of them had this challenge on it, and that's the one I'm thinking of James being like, oh, like laughing at someone, and then he like pulls his arm down and it falls on him. So like, yeah, you see that like that would have been fun to see, or like have them bartering for food, pros coming out and offering food and having people drop. Give us a little bit of that like old school taste. I think that's what they were trying to do with this, and it's just like not quite enough. It is like good on them that it was like Stephanie, that it was like an old school player that got to go there and do it, especially one that had the shoulder thing before. So that was
Right.
pretty cool. It was more Stephanie than I cared to watch, but like,
Oh, so much more Stephanie than I
but
wanted to
it's
see.
it's okay. Like she's not doing anything that bad. I just think I was not around. I did not watch Survivor when Palau was like the thing and like she was the hot shit with like, you know, being the person from that season and then coming back on Guatemala. I was not watching during the Stephanie LaGrosa era. So maybe the like the it's not as like cool to me, but like I just never really gotten it for like I don't under I like I've never really been a huge Steph fan. So
Right.
you know, she was in the season, I was like, whatever. And now she's like in a really good spot and going really far. So I'm like, all right, whatever, here we go. And now she's, you know, she's got this, but like I thought her lie coming back of like I dropped after
Terrible.
30 minutes and saved my vote or whatever is like pretty bad. Like you're in a really bad spot. Like it's hard to come up with a good, believable lie if you're not just going to tell people exactly what happened. So like no one's going to believe you anyway, but like that was pretty bad. Like people know you can hold your arm up in the air for more than
Yeah,
an hour,
she's so
Steph.
very
Like you
physically
are you
fit.
are you are a challenge beast. Like yeah,
Yeah.
you are known as a challenge beast sort of player. Like, you know, you are a physical player. You're definitely not social and you're definitely not strategic. So like you're a physical player, Steph. That's your game. Um so you know, I don't know. Like people know that, and obviously Suri. So more people know that she's lying than Suri, but they showed that because of their history and because of how
Uh-huh.
funny it was that Suri can just everything she does. To how much tact Coach does not have, Suri has the inverse amount. You know, like she's just like plays everything just so perfectly of like, you know, just like smiling and laughing until she eventually tells her the truth because she
Yeah.
knows, you know, like so good, masterful as always.
Yeah, and then immediately telling Rizzo, like, "Oh, I promise I won't tell anyone." Immediately cuts to telling Rizzo, Stephanie has
Yeah,
the
and
steal
then
vote.
yeah, didn't even tell Ozzy, but told Rizzo. Well, I guess maybe she thinks that Ozzy would circle it back to Steph, and she knows Rizzo would definitely not tell Steph
Yeah,
that he
that's
knows this.
smart. I
I don't
didn't
know.
even think of
Like
that.
I'm not. I don't know why she chose Rizzo over Ozzy for that, or maybe she did also tell Ozzy and we just didn't see it.
No,
But
I think
yeah,
that's
it's
a good
so funny
reasoning for
that
why it would be
you
Rizzo.
know, yeah, like obviously Ozzy and Steph have like some sort of history together. I don't think they have any sort of like ever working together or probably anything in common. But
Well, no, I don't think they were on a season
they
together. I think they're
yeah,
just allies in this game.
yeah, you know, yeah, they've worked together, know each other, have been in this world together for a long time.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think that definitely makes sense for Suri. But you know, that I thought she played that super well, and it's gonna be out there in the open pretty soon that she's got this steal a vote, I think. Because
Yeah.
Rizzo's not going to keep his mouth shut, I don't think. I think Rizzo, it's going to spread. I don't know. I don't know. People, no one can keep their mouth shut on this season. And that's been the way it is in New Era Survivor. And it's fun to see that that's the way it is in season 52. Because that's just the way it is. It's not New Era. That's just the way the game is played. It's played with such a fast pace now and it's so fluid that information just flows like that too. And you just have to work around that or just not tell anyone anything because it's going to get back. It's going
Yeah,
to
and
get
I
back
think
100% of the time. If you tell one person, at least one other person is going to find out.
yeah,
Yeah.
seriously. Um, I think that there's a chance that up until the moment where the steal a vote might actually come into play, I don't think Rizzo will tell anyone, specifically because he literally just got screwed over by uh, D spilling the beans.
Yeah. True.
So he doesn't want to become D to Suri. So then Suri's like, oh,
It's a good
well,
point.
you think that D is not trustworthy anymore because she spilled your secret, but then you just spilled my secret. So now should I not trust you?
Yeah.
Um, so I think
Yeah.
Rizzo will keep it under wraps until it needs to be used to get votes against someone because it might be used at that tribal.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I think that is tough because Stephanie is part of the Honor and Integrity Alliance. That's five people. If you have, let's say, 5v, yeah, 5v6, that becomes a majority. So
Hmm.
you, if this is about to be a double and go to 11 people,
They
you
might have to
need
do
to
it
get a
now. Yeah.
minimum of one person in the Honor and Integrity Alliance out, or else they now have the majority of the game.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. They're gonna have to one of those people is gonna have to go this week. Or it's gonna be too late for people. And then maybe they'll turn on each other at some point. But if there's any group that's gonna stick together, you know, you would think it would be this one.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
and
So they got to get one of them out, or else it could
that
be
would be
bad.
horrible to watch.
I know, I know. I
That would
need
be
one of them out so
that would
bad.
ruin it. Yeah, that would ruin season 50, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
goodness
I
gracious.
am
All right. Yeah, for
curious.
sure. I also think one other prediction. I think. Yeah. No, what I was gonna say, one other thing, I think the Christian Devon's fake idol is gonna play out next week somehow. Like I
Oh,
think they're gonna
next
do
week, you
some that's
think?
gonna that they're keep reminding us about that, and then nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Or soon, at some point. And maybe, I think Devon's and Christian and Emily are in a little bit of hot water now because they're the middle. And they're not loyal. Christian's the most dangerous person in the game besides D, coach said. So, I think that now may be the time for them to try and pull some shenanigans with that. Who knows what that's going to be and if it's going to even work, but I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, and I think it'll be more believable now because Aubrey did play her idol. So what if that is the idol that maybe they can like spin it as like they just found something?
Ooh, that's a good point. Oh, that's a really good. That's
Yeah,
that's
because if
another
there
good
was
point. I didn't even
three
think about
idols
that.
still
Yeah.
in the game, how are they going to explain that? You think there's four idols in the game? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. People out there may just believe it if like under the like fog of war that would be happening as that's like all going down. I feel like maybe people will just believe it. I don't know. I'm excited to find out. I hope it actually does play out. They keep reminding us, so it's definitely going to happen at some point. Or they would have just never showed us this. They wouldn't have showed it I was like, oh, they would have showed it just to show Christian do his like fake fall. But now they
mhm.
keep reminding us. So it's like, okay, this is going to be Chekhov's idol clue at some point.
Yeah. And I'm curious what you think, um, who you think the winner of the season is going to be. What is your winner pick for Survivor 50? Now that I know your winner pick
Oh
was
man,
Camilla. So,
was Camilla. Yeah, was Camilla. I was all in on Camilla, member of the Camilitary. Still a proud member. But sad
Camilitary,
to
I
see
love
her
that.
go. Um, but it's oof, you know, let's get why, so part of me thinks it's going to be someone that's kind of like laying low, like a Tiff or an Aubrey right now. But it's me, tough to see how they get to the end. Maybe if they do, their story is I'm on the bottom and I was a target and I got all the way here. But I have a hard time seeing that right now. So I'm gonna go crazy and I'm gonna say Suri, winner of season 50. That would be
Okay.
crazy.
Honestly, I don't know if
Yeah,
that's
let's
too
get wild with
crazy
it.
because I truly think that it's
They
going to
gotta
be
cut her at some point, though.
like
You
right. No,
have
I
to
know
cut
they got to
Suri
cut
at
her at
some
some point.
point,
That's the
right?
thing. I think that if Suri wasn't like known as Suri, like though we all know has
Hmm.
will win if she makes it to the end, she would win the game. She's in the best spot to win the game, in my opinion. But just knowing that have to be like, even if she's surrounded by four insanely close allies, they will all team up on Suri at Final Five or something like that, or Final Six. Like they have to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I feel like it would be very difficult for her to get to the end. I think it'll be very difficult for Christian to get to the end.
Hmm.
Um, and I think the four people that are currently my front runners are uh, Christian, Suri, Rizzo, and Ozzy. And for some reason, I just can't see Ozzy as a winner. It's hard. So I'm gonna go with Riz God is gonna
Wow,
be
look at
the
that.
winner of
You
Survivor
know,
50.
I'm here for it. I think he's played a fantastic game this time, and maybe that's part of it is because of them not knowing who he is and not knowing like the like idle shenanigans he did last time. I think he will have a harder time being this loved and being this like brought in by everybody if he plays again. But it definitely it's part of that, but it's definitely mostly just like his character and the way he is that just like makes people trust him and like
Yeah.
be such a magnet for people. So like if anyone could get to the end and be as like weird and like goofy and immature as Rizzo is, and get to the end and win, I think it's him. Like, like
Right.
he's the only thing that I think he's got a hard time is like outside the game stuff. Game wise, he's so good. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, and I
good
think
pick.
that will be something that could help him win even also because you make it to the end and you can say like nobody knew my game, nobody knew who I was, and I still was able to make it to the end when I had such a target on my back because of this going into the season. I think that could be really good for him. And I don't think people will be thinking as much into that because I think Suri and Rizzo will make it very far together. So if they're thinking, oh, Rizzo's story of being from 49 and make it to the end, or Suri's story of she will win if she makes it to the end, no matter if she played a goat game or not, like she's probably the person you want to take out. And then if Rizzo somehow makes it to Final Four, you never know what might happen. I don't know. So I think I think it'll be interesting.
Can you imagine a world? Can you imagine a world where Suri gets to the end and doesn't win?
No, I
Would
can't.
that
But if
be
that
just
did
like
happen, that would be a
the
travesty.
craziest? Oh my God. If she just finds another way to not win, it's that she brought Rizzo and Rizzo beats her. No, that there's no
Oh my
chance. There's
God,
no chance of that.
imagine.
But like, oh, that would be so bad.
So bad. Oh my God.
No, Suri was so the first person that I saw like posting on social media, like Survivor 50 is the best season ever. Like it's so good, y'all. Like, and I don't think she would be the one that would be saying that if she made it to the end and didn't win. I think she could be the person that says that if she didn't win. Like, I don't think that means she won. But like I just think like
100%.
there's
Yeah,
no
no, you're
there's not
right.
a chance. But that's a fun world to think about that like Suri could potentially just not even win if she gets to the end. But people are going to recognize that it's an auto win for the best player to never win if she gets to the end in season 50.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Ty, thank you so much for hopping on and recapping not just season episode 7, but a little small recap of 5 and 6 too. I really appreciate it, and I loved
A
all
little
the
catch
insight that
up.
we
Yeah.
gave.
Yeah, man. Always a good time. Thank you for having me. Thanks for bearing with the connectivity issues and everything. Hopefully able to get some good content out of this for the pod. So thanks for having me, man. Anytime.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, apologies for anyone watching and dealing with the connection issue, but I'm glad you guys kept watching, bared with us, and got to hear all of our thoughts and analysis on the episodes. Yeah, so thank you again for hopping on, and we will see all of you guys next time for the recap of episode 8 of Survivor 50. See you guys.